extent that might explain our slow start, but then we realised we needed to fight back, and so I don't know about how much that came into play. And in terms of bans, I'm a little bit surprised Ollie Partington didn't get a ban when Scott Taylor stayed down to try and make sure that it got picked up that he tackled him low, and he did tackle him low. It didn't. It was one of them where it's with the natural bend of the leg kind of ones, but it looked to me like I thought Partington might have got a ban for that. I don't think he'll get picked anyway for the final, but yeah.
The one I thought was more an issue was the trip. Was it Marshall?
I didn't see that, I've got to say.
Just stuck his leg out. It was very similar to like the Luke Gill one when he got his 2-match ban.
Was it down your end of the field?
No, it was more middly. It was like, if anywhere, it was sort of northeast area.
I've got to say, I didn't spot one, but it doesn't mean it didn't happen.
No.
But it wasn't pulled out in the match review panel minutes. But I tell you what was Josh Reynolds about 7 times. He didn't get any charges, but they were watching what he did closely.
He had a player cam on.
In terms of the predictions, I went 4 out of 6 last week. Alan went 5 out of 6. I think it was the Salford Leeds game that was the point of distinction between us, because as Stozza pointed out, we both predicted Wigan win against. What a shock! I picked my team to win.
Who'd have thought it? Eh?
In the host Super Brew. David in first has the yellow cap on again. I say second despite having the spoon. Sarah, you're third, and Alan is last. In the main Super Brew, YFM Rich Owen stays at the top. He's been at the top for a while now, so he must be enjoying that spot. Steve Hurst wears the yellow cap, so well done to Steve. Then in the Fantasy League, Alan Bagley stayed at the top, and he's got a lead of nearly 200 points at this stage. That's a pretty solid lead. John Padgett, our old friend Cutthroat Jake. Why don't you get in any Leeds fan reviews anymore, John? But he's got the best weekly score, so he's still knocking about and doing some good stuff. 713 this week. Very good score, John. Well done.
That's impressive.
Okay, thanks everyone who got their fan views in on all of those games, including SL Review. I enjoyed all of those. Make sure you get your views in on next week's games. Less games, but bigger prizes at stake. So we'll look forward to seeing those next week. But we'll move on now to other results.
So in other results, it was the Women's Super League Round 2. Group 1 finished Leeds 60, Huddersfield 4. And York 13, St Helens 6.
Yeah, we got just on that Leeds one. You talked about the fans at Salford. Well, looks like the Leeds fans are taking well to the women's team. They played the curtain raiser at Headingley for that one. So and there's lots of fans wanting to be aware, get their pictures and get their signatures of the women's players. So that's fantastic. But the York 13, St Helens 6. Result, which was the first defeat for St Helens since the playoff semi-final in 2019 to Leeds. So that's a long winning run for them. Obviously helped out by not playing for a year, but there you go. Jason Emery said, the intensity of that game was unreal. Loved every minute of it. Holly Dodd was my player of the match. And Mike Webb 58 said, well, that throws things up in the air a bit. Great and fierce defence from York that a subdued Saints couldn't crack. More games like this will be good preparation for the World Cup. This one was on the Sportsman. I think it was a great game to have on the Sportsman. I was only able to watch the first half because I had other plans in the afternoon, and so I couldn't watch the second half live. But great result for York. Great performance by York.
Yeah, really good result. In Group 2, it was Bradford 12, Lee Minor Rangers 8. It was Featherstone 56, Castleford 6, Warrington 86, Wakefield 0.
In news in the Women's Super League, because there's no point going into the standings yet, 2 rounds in. But Wales women, it's been announced, will play a test against England at Pandy Park in Cross Keys on the 12th of June. Wales will then play another match the following week with opposition for that yet to be confirmed. But we know England do play France the following week. That's part of the doubleheader with the men playing against the Combies as well. That's at Warrington on the 18th of June. It looks like they're doing a promotional offer for our league members on that to get buy one get one free tickets. So yeah, take advantage of that if you're available to go to that match. Championship.
Yeah, so it was round 12 in the championship, and it finished Featherstone 78, Whitehaven 0, Bradford 36, Newcastle 20, Batley 28, London 12. It was Dewsbury 18, Barrow 20, Lee 58, Workington 6, York 24, Halifax 40. And I think Halifax had 2 players sin-binned at the same time in that match as well.
Wow, they've really come good, haven't they, in the last month?
Yeah, they're doing well. And then on Monday it finished Sheffield 34, Widnes 24.
So Carson got in touch. He said a better start for Widnes, but the Eagles killed them with outstanding scrum plays and a very lively QLT. Worrying for Widnes was their collapse between the 50th and the 60th minute. Yeah, the scoreline really blew away, didn't it? If Widnes didn't score a couple of late tries, it would have been, it would have had a bigger margin there. I think Widnes did all their scoring in the first 10 and the last 10, actually, didn't they? Bruiser664 going to it. She said, Widnes broke away with a couple of tries early, but it was one-way traffic for Sheffield for the rest of the game up until they switched off at the end to let Widnes pull a couple back. Great atmosphere at the new stadium. Will be even better when we're allowed more people in. Aston aside from the actual game, even as a new person to rugby league in Sheffield, it was clear what this game meant to the long-term fans and everyone involved in the club to be back home in the city. Personally, it was also a great experience going out onto the pitch at half-time to be introduced alongside the women's team, LDRL team and the rest of the wheelchair team and hearing the fans get behind us. Yeah, in terms of the standings, Featherstone stay top on 23 points, with Lee just behind on 22 points. York stay third, but they're on 18 points, with Halifax on 16 in fourth. Batley and Barrow both have 15 points. Sheffield and Bradford make up the top 8 on 12 points. Widnes and Newcastle have 10 points. Whitehaven have 6. Dewsbury have 4. London have 3. And Workington are still bottom on 0. And talking about London, that defeat to Batley was the end of the road for head coach Jermaine Coleman and his assistant Jamel Coleman. They've parted company with the Broncos, leaving the Broncos in the relegation places, having managed just 1 win and 1 draw from their 13 league games, 12 league games it should be, I think, so far this season. You very kindly told Dr. Hideous he can get in touch with us about this, even though now I've got to go and find it. So Dr. Hideous, the London fan, said, the Broncos haven't just lost their League One coach, they started shedding their League One players too. Lamek Juma is a good League One player going back to the Scholars. So yeah, it's, time for a re-evaluation, I guess, at London, sort of midway through the season now. It's not been a good start to them, has it? And it's been a big transition, I suppose, moving to this part-time model. And maybe, do you think they thought they could get away with a season?
I don't know. You get the feeling that maybe they were chancing their arms with it, don't you?
Yeah. I feel like they thought they would be better than at least 3 or 4 sides and be able to kind of finish, maybe not in the playoffs, but can get away with a season, bring in through a few of the younger players they'd kept after disbanding their academy. Well, not disbanding, but kind of it not being as big a feature. And the players they brought in from League One and that sort of stuff, and thinking they could get away with it a bit for a year, whilst they kind of maybe got those players experience, then might go again once Lee and Featherstone had gone, or Lee or Featherstone had gone, maybe. I don't know. Maybe that, it feels like that was part of the thinking, but they've now realised, moved to the new stadium, but being quite poor and losing games that, yeah, this year you'd expect them to lose to Batley, but over the last 4 or 5 years you wouldn't expect them to be getting beaten comfortably by teams like Batley. They've needed to make a change, I think, and it's a shame, because I don't think anyone's saying the Colemans aren't good coaches, but maybe it's just not the right job for them at this time, because it feels like too big a job now.
Yeah, it feels like they were chancing their arm a little bit and they've come unstuck.
Hopefully they turn it around and don't get relegated, because I think that would be a big blow to the game down south. Shall we move on to League One?
Yes, so in League One it was round 9. How's that come about so quickly? And it finished Swinton 54, Cornwall 6, Rochdale 46, Doncaster 28, West Wales 12, Hunslet 50, and Keighley 29, the Midlands 18.
In the standings before Sarah falls asleep.
Yeah,
Keighley goes, it's exciting, League One. Look, all them score lines. Oh. Keighley go top on points difference ahead of North Wales. Both have 16 points and perfect records ahead of their round 10 contest in 2 weeks' time. Rochdale are just behind on 14 points, with Swinton on 12 points and Doncaster on 10 points. Hunslet in 6th are on 9 points. Oldham have 5 points. Midlands have 4. West Wales have 2. Cornwall and the Scholars are still yet to get off the mark. There was a League One piece of news that came in today. Fullback Lewis Young has signed a new 2-year contract extension with Keighley, so one of their key parts to their strong starts of the season is sticking around.
Good for them. In the Wheelchair Super League, it finished North Wales 68, Warrington 28, Wigan 90, Hull FC 36.
That's the one that mattered.
And Halifax 30, the London Roosters 40.
That one is like a big... I think it's Halifax's first league defeat of the year. They fell just short in the semi-finals of the Challenge Cup last week against the Catalans, but... the Roosters with a big win on the road there at Halifax. I think they're two teams that should be in the mix for the semi-finals in the Wheelchair Super League. So, nice one to chalk up for the Roosters.
Yep. And moving on to the NRL, it was round 11 and it finished the Knights 12, the Broncos 36.
NRL Review said, it looks like the Ponies and Lovebug are a good team this year. The Days and their LGBTQI guy also, as well as Dom Old, are just not up to it.
West Tigers 36, Bulldogs 22.
And NRL Review said, it looked at one stage like the Barkers sending their coach to the vet to be put down would work, but the Ginger Pussies just creamed them.
The Eels 22, the Sea Eagles 20.
A real bludger of a game. Snakes too slippery in the moist conditions. The diesel injection broke down again. Yeah, it looks like Trebojevic might be out for the season, which is a shame for him.
Yeah, and then it finished the Dragons 24, the Warriors 18.
This was a real battle, but those fire breathers, aka the mothers-in-law, got the job done. The Concerned and their coach Brownstein should be worried.
The Cowboys 36, the Storm 6.
Once they lost some volume, the Mist just lost all density. The reverse cowgirls spun them around and Herman could do nothing to stop them. Casanova Houses was good, but I was impressed by No. I have no idea.
No.
No.
Roosters 12, Panthers 32.
NRL Review said, this game was never in doubt. The Black Pussies smothered those cocks and just never let them get a chance to spank them. It was scary for the cocks. You could say Black Pussies gave cocks a stroke. And Alan Walker said, some sanity, let's hope, said, great game.
Walker.
Yeah, 0-0 after 30 minutes of a really intense grind and bash. The Roosters gave as much as the Panthers and hit just as hard. Defence was relentless whilst both attacks probed. Then boom, the Panthers went in at half-time with an 18-0 lead. The second half was just as good, if not better. Cleary was majestic, some Luai magic broke it open, and Yeo had another top game. The rest of the Panthers all played their part.
And it finished the Rabbitohs 12, the Raiders 32.
The Lime Factory were taken to the bush by the Hoppers, but they got the jump on them. It was the return of Jack Blackton. In the end, it wasn't even a contest. Poorly.
Titans 18, the Sharks 25.
There was blood in the water for Shark Week as the Lucens let it slip and just couldn't get a grip. a faux exciting finish, but Aldi Heath